Powerful people decide your access before you speak. One wrong signal, and you are categorized as expendable. Most people never realize when they lost the room. If you don't understand how power reads you, you are already exposed. What follows is not about networking, it's about positioning. By the end, your presence will reveal less, provoke more respect, and invite control. You will stop reaching upward and start being quietly evaluated as equal. Powerful people never connect through emotion first, because emotion clouds hierarchy. They connect through structure, position, and behavioral alignment. This is where most people fail without realizing it. They approach power with warmth, eagerness, stories, and visible effort, believing connection is built through likability. In reality, likability is irrelevant at the top. What matters is whether you disrupt or stabilize the existing order. Power is always scanning for threats, liabilities, and assets long before it considers trust. When you lead with enthusiasm, you signal hunger. Hunger communicates dependence. Dependence is immediately categorized as weakness. Powerful individuals are not moved by how much you want proximity to them. They are evaluating whether your presence increases or decreases their control. This is why silence carries more weight than speech, and restraint carries more authority than contribution. The less you try to prove, the more you are observed. Structure means how you carry yourself when nothing is happening. Your pacing, your comfort with pauses, your ability to respond without urgency. These signals reveal your internal hierarchy. Someone who rushes to fill silence is revealing anxiety. Someone who over-explains is revealing fear of judgment. Someone who offers value too early is revealing insecurity about worth. Power notices all of this instantly. Those who understand this never attempt to connect in the traditional sense. They allow alignment to speak first. Alignment is demonstrated through controlled behavior, consistency, and emotional economy. You do not seek validation. You do not ask to be seen. You operate as though your position is already secure. This creates a subtle friction in the mind of powerful people, curiosity mixed with respect. They cannot easily place you below them, and that ambiguity forces engagement. Most people believe access is earned through effort. In reality, access is granted to those who appear self-contained. Power does not elevate those who need it. It pulls closer those who seem unaffected by it. When you are not chasing approval, you signal that your identity is not dependent on their recognition. That alone separates you from the masses. The aware individual understands that connection is a byproduct, not a goal. You do not bond first, you are evaluated first, and evaluation is ruthless, silent, and final. If you pass without begging, without performing, without revealing your intent, power opens the door on its own terms. That is the only connection that lasts. Power is never comfortable with full transparency from someone it has not yet classified. This is why revealing your intent too early is one of the fastest ways to lose leverage. Most people rush to explain themselves because they fear being misunderstood or dismissed. That fear alone places them beneath the person they are speaking to. Powerful individuals do not reward clarity that is driven by anxiety. They interpret it as a need to be accepted. When you expose your direction, plans, or ambitions prematurely, you remove the very ambiguity that protects you. Ambiguity forces others to observe you longer. Observation creates investment. Once your motives are clearly defined, you become predictable. Predictability is useful, but it is never respected in the early stages of power alignment. Power prefers to decide where to place you, not to be told who you are. Those who hold influence understand that explanation is a concession. It hands control of the frame to the listener. The moment you begin justifying your position, you are no longer leading the interaction, you are responding to it. Most people talk themselves into smaller roles by over-defining their purpose. They believe clarity equals confidence. In reality, restraint equals confidence. The fewer details you reveal, the more authority you retain. Mystery is not about deception. It is about discipline. It signals that your identity and direction are internally settled and do not require external confirmation. Powerful people are drawn to this because it mirrors their own position. They live in a world where intentions are inferred, not announced. When you behave this way, you signal that you understand the unspoken rules of hierarchy. Unaware individuals mistake silence for passivity. In truth, silence is a strategic delay. It allows you to gather information while revealing nothing. Every time you speak, you narrow how others perceive you. Every time you remain measured, you keep multiple paths open. This is why those who rush to define themselves often feel boxed in later. They built the box themselves. Power also tests intent indirectly. It will probe with questions, casual remarks, or subtle challenges designed to make you reveal more than necessary. Most fail these tests by over-answering. The disciplined response is precise but incomplete. You answer what is asked, nothing more. You leave space. That space creates gravity. Over time, those who resist the urge to explain gain an advantage that is difficult to quantify but impossible to ignore. Their actions begin to speak louder than their words. Patterns replace promises. Results replace narratives. Powerful people trust what they can observe repeatedly, not what they are told once. When you allow your behavior to define you, rather than your explanations, you shift the dynamic entirely. You are no longer asking to be understood. You are allowing others to catch up. That reversal is subtle, but it is decisive. Power never announces its tests, because announcing would weaken the hierarchy. Tests are designed to expose your emotional reflexes without your awareness. A sudden interruption, a delayed response, a subtle dismissal, a skeptical look, or an offhand challenge, these are not accidents. They are pressure points. Most people fail them instantly because they respond emotionally, not strategically. They defend, explain, overcorrect, or seek reassurance. In that moment, their internal position is revealed. Power is not interested in what you say under comfort. It studies what you do under friction. Emotional reactions are data. The faster you react, the lower your perceived rank. Calm delay signals authority. It suggests that you are not dependent on approval, alignment, or immediate resolution. Powerful people instinctively respect those who can absorb tension without leaking emotion. The most common failure is defensiveness. Defensiveness signals that your self-image is fragile and externally controlled. When challenged, the unaware rush to protect their ego. They justify decisions, clarify intentions, or attempt to prove competence. Every word they add tightens the trap. Power does not challenge to be convinced, it challenges to observe stability. If you explain yourself, you fail the test. Another failure is over-accommodation. Some respond to tests by becoming excessively agreeable, adaptive, or eager to please. This signals submission. Power does not elevate those who fold under pressure. It manages them. Agreeableness under challenge communicates that your boundaries are negotiable and your position is flexible. That places you in a lower tier immediately. Silence, when applied correctly, is dominance, not awkward silence, not passive silence, controlled silence. It demonstrates that you are processing, not panicking. A pause before responding shows that you are not reactive. It forces the other party to sit with their own pressure. Often, they reveal more than they intended simply because you did not rush to fill the space. Tone matters more than content. A calm, neutral tone under challenge communicates internal authority. It tells power that you are familiar with pressure and unaffected by it. Even a short response delivered without emotional charge carries weight. Power listens for emotional leakage, irritation, eagerness, insecurity, or excitement. The absence of leakage is what passes the test. Power also observes consistency. If your behavior shifts dramatically when challenged, you are flagged as unstable. If you remain the same pace, same demeanor, same boundaries, you are registered as reliable. Reliability is rare near power because most people alter themselves to survive. Those who do not alter stand out immediately. Timing is another hidden test. Responding too fast suggests anticipation and fear. Responding too slowly without intention suggests confusion. The ideal response lands when it feels deliberate, measured, considered, as if you had options and chose one calmly. This illusion of choice is critical. Power respects those who appear to operate from selection, not compulsion. There is also the test of non-reaction. Sometimes nothing is said, but something is implied. A slight disrespect, a casual oversight, a minimized contribution. Most react by trying to reclaim status. The aware individual allows the moment to pass without self-betrayal. They understand that not every signal requires correction. Power watches to see who can tolerate minor losses without destabilizing. Passing these tests does not require dominance, displays, or verbal sparring. That is amateur behavior. True dominance is emotional economy, using less energy than expected, saying less than required, revealing nothing unnecessary. When power sees that it cannot easily provoke, rush, or control you, classification shifts. At that point, you are no longer treated as a variable. You become a constant, and constants are handled carefully. Powerful environments are saturated with attention seekers. Everyone is trying to be seen, heard, and remembered. This is precisely why competing for attention immediately disqualifies you. Attention is a scarce resource at the top, and those who chase it reveal a fundamental misunderstanding of hierarchy. Power already owns attention. It does not admire those who fight for it. It observes who does not need it. Most people equate visibility with value. They speak quickly, interject often, display intelligence openly, and attempt to dominate conversations with contribution. What they fail to realize is that this behavior communicates inner scarcity. It signals that their sense of importance depends on external recognition. In powerful circles, that dependence is quietly noted and permanently categorized. Power does not reward performance. It rewards control. Control of emotion. Control of timing. Control of presence. When you resist the impulse to compete for attention, you signal that your worth is not up for negotiation. You are not trying to earn space. You assume it exists. This assumption alone shifts perception. Silence is misinterpreted by the unaware as weakness or absence. In reality, silence in a high-status environment functions as a filter. It allows you to gather information while revealing nothing. Those who speak continuously expose their thinking, priorities, insecurities, and ambitions. They make themselves readable. Power prefers those who remain difficult to read. Allowing others to speak is not humility, it is strategy. When people talk, they reveal patterns. They reveal how they think, what they value, where they seek validation, and what they fear losing. The individual who listens gains leverage without effort. This is why powerful figures often speak less than everyone else in the room. They do not need to announce dominance. They allow others to demonstrate their position for them. Rushing to fill silence is one of the clearest indicators of internal anxiety. Silence creates pressure. Most people feel compelled to relieve that pressure by speaking, even if they add no value. The aware individual lets silence do its work. Silence forces others to self-correct, over-explain, or seek approval. Each of those reactions shifts power away from them and toward you. There is also a deeper dynamic at play. When you refuse to compete for attention, you remove yourself from the visible hierarchy game. This creates ambiguity. Ambiguity unsettles power structures because they rely on clear rankings. When someone does not play the expected role, they attract scrutiny. That scrutiny is the beginning of interest. Underestimation is a temporary disadvantage that converts into long-term leverage. Those who rush to display competence often cap their own perceived depth. Once you are fully understood, you are fully placed. When you allow others to underestimate you, you preserve optionality. You can reveal more later, when timing favors you. Power respects delayed capability more than immediate brilliance. Many people fear being overlooked. This fear drives them to over-participate. They believe if they are not actively asserting themselves, they will disappear. In reality, those who disappear briefly often reappear with greater impact. Power remembers restraint. It forgets noise. Not competing does not mean disengaging. It means choosing precision. When you do speak, it should alter the direction of the room, not add to its volume. A single well-timed observation carries more weight than constant contribution. Power is sensitive to signal, to noise ratio. Those who maintain a high ratio are taken seriously. There is also an emotional component. Competing for attention creates subtle hostility. Others sense rivalry, even if unspoken. This triggers defensive positioning. When you remain non-competitive, you disarm people. They relax around you. Relaxed people reveal more. Power notices who can lower tension without submission. Ultimately, attention-seeking behavior is an attempt to force recognition. Power cannot be forced. It must be allowed to arrive. Those who understand this wait. They do not rush visibility. They let presence do the work. Over time, powerful individuals begin to notice the one person who never thought to be noticed yet was always fully aware. That person is no longer competing. They are being evaluated. Power does not seek brilliance in isolation. It seeks stability within complexity. This is why alignment consistently outweighs usefulness in high-level environments. Most people believe that becoming indispensable through skill, output, or intelligence will secure their position. In reality, usefulness without alignment creates risk. A useful person who behaves unpredictably is a liability, not an asset. Power cannot afford surprises. Alignment is behavioral coherence over time. It is the ability to act in ways that are consistent with the structure, pace, and emotional tone of the environment you are in. Powerful individuals observe this relentlessly. They are less concerned with what you can do once and more focused on how you behave repeatedly. Patterns matter more than potential. Those who rely on usefulness tend to overextend. They volunteer excessively, offer solutions prematurely, and insert themselves into situations to demonstrate value. This creates noise. Noise increases cognitive load for those in control. Power prefers those who reduce complexity, not those who add to it, even if the addition is technically impressive. Predictability is misunderstood as mediocrity by the unaware. In reality, predictability is the foundation of trust at the top. When power knows how you will react under pressure in ambiguity or during conflict, it can integrate you safely. Erratic competence is dangerous. Consistent discipline is valuable. Emotional containment is a critical component of alignment. Mood swings, visible frustration, excitement spikes, or disengagement are all signals of internal instability. Powerful people operate in environments where emotions are costly. They favor individuals whose internal state remains steady regardless of external fluctuation. Calm becomes currency. Most people underestimate how closely power watches micro behavior. How you handle small disappointments, how you respond when ignored, how you behave when plans change. These moments reveal whether you are governed internally or externally. Those who require constant reinforcement quickly exhaust power's patience. Alignment also involves respecting unspoken rules. Every powerful structure has them. Who speaks first? Who challenges whom? What is discussed publicly versus privately? The unaware violate these rules unintentionally, then wonder why access closes. Power does not explain its boundaries. It observes who can sense them. There is a paradox here that few understand. The more you attempt to prove your value, the less aligned you appear. Alignment is not demonstrated through effort, but through fit. Fit is quiet. It feels natural. When someone fits, they do not need to announce themselves. Their presence stabilizes the environment. Usefulness can be replaced. Alignment cannot. Skills can be hired, outsourced, or automated. Behavioral reliability cannot. This is why individuals who are not the most talented often rise faster. They create no friction. They do not require management. They anticipate expectations without being told. Power values this more than raw capability. Consistency over time builds a reputation that precedes you. Powerful people share impressions subtly. They speak in shorthand. He's solid. She's steady. These words carry more weight than any list of achievements. Once this classification is made, doors open with minimal effort. Another critical aspect of alignment is emotional economy. Saying only what is necessary. Reacting only when required. Engaging only when appropriate. This conserves energy, yours and theirs. Power respects those who do not drain attention. Attention is finite. Those who protect it are rewarded. Misalignment often shows up as over-identification. People tie their self-worth to outcomes, recognition, or proximity to power. This creates emotional volatility. When things go well, they inflate. When things go poorly, they destabilize. Power avoids such individuals because they require constant regulation. Aligned individuals remain centered regardless of external validation. They do not chase praise. They do not collapse under silence. Their behavior does not shift dramatically based on feedback. This steadiness signals maturity and control. Ultimately, power integrates those it can trust to behave consistently even when no one is watching. Alignment is integrity without announcement. It is discipline without display. Those who embody it become invisible in the best possible way. They are no longer questioned. At that point, usefulness becomes secondary. Alignment secures the position. Power is instinctively repelled by desperation because desperation signals instability. When someone seeks proximity too aggressively, they reveal that their sense of direction depends on external validation. Powerful people avoid attaching themselves to those who need them to feel whole. They already carry enough weight. They look for individuals who move under their own momentum. Most people misunderstand access. They believe proximity creates value. In reality, value creates proximity. When you pursue powerful figures too openly, you invert the natural order. You position yourself as a seeker rather than a peer. This immediately defines the relationship as asymmetrical, and asymmetry rarely corrects itself upward. Desperation leaks through behavior even when words are controlled. It appears in over-availability, immediate responses, excessive gratitude, and eagerness to agree. These signals communicate that you have nothing better to do, nowhere else to be, and no leverage of your own. Power notices this instantly. It may tolerate it briefly, but it will never respect it. Powerful individuals are drawn to independence because independence reduces risk. Someone who has their own trajectory cannot be easily manipulated, but they also do not collapse under pressure. This creates mutual respect. When you demonstrate that your life is structured, active, and advancing without their involvement, curiosity replaces dismissal. They begin to wonder where you are going and why. This is why the aware individual never orbits power. Orbiting creates dependence. Instead, they move forward on a parallel path. They intersect occasionally, intentionally, and without urgency. These intersections feel earned rather than forced. Power prefers encounters that feel organic, not engineered. There is also a subtle dominance dynamic at play. Whoever needs the interaction more is already at a disadvantage. When you signal that you would benefit disproportionately from proximity, you surrender control of the frame. The powerful person now dictates the pace, depth, and terms of engagement. Regaining balance after this is extremely difficult. Creating gravity requires self-containment. Your schedule is full. Your goals are active. Your attention is allocated. You do not linger. You do not chase follow-ups excessively. You do not demand clarity or reassurance. This communicates that your time is valuable and your direction is non-negotiable. Power respects those who respect themselves first. Many people confuse humility with self-erasure. They believe downplaying their independence will make them more approachable. In reality, it makes them forgettable. Power remembers those who stand firm in their own world, those who bring their own gravity alter the environment simply by entering it. Proximity seeking also reveals impatience. Impatience suggests short-term thinking. Powerful people operate on long timelines. They invest in those who can wait because waiting demonstrates internal stability. If you cannot tolerate distance, you will not survive closeness. Power knows this. The paradox is that the less you seek proximity, the more likely it becomes. When power senses that you are not trying to extract value, it relaxes. Defenses lower. Observation replaces avoidance. You are no longer perceived as a variable to manage, but as a potential equal to assess. Independence also allows you to say no, quietly, without explanation. This is one of the strongest signals of self-possession. Saying no selectively communicates that you are not operating from fear of loss. Power rarely hears no. When it does, it pays attention. Another overlooked aspect is emotional detachment. When your mood shifts based on access, attention, or response, you reveal dependency. The aware individual remains emotionally consistent regardless of proximity. Whether included or excluded, acknowledged or ignored, they remain unchanged. This consistency unsettles power in a productive way. It signals inner authority. Those who chase proximity often burn bridges without realizing it. They exhaust goodwill through over-contact, excessive requests, or visible disappointment. Power may not confront this directly, it simply withdraws. The door closes quietly. Once closed, it rarely reopens. Creating gravity is not about withdrawal or aloofness. It is about fullness. A full life does not reach outward desperately. It attracts inward naturally. When your actions demonstrate progress, discipline, and momentum, power begins to move toward you without being invited. Ultimately, proximity is not a reward. It is a consequence. It follows those who are already moving forward under their own command. Power aligns with motion, not pursuit. Restraint is the rarest and most misinterpreted signal of power. Most people believe power is demonstrated through action, assertion, and movement. In reality, power is revealed through the ability to delay action without anxiety. Those who rush expose themselves. Those who wait control the frame. This is the final law because it governs all the others. Powerful people are constantly watching for impatience. Impatience reveals hunger. Hunger reveals dependency. Dependency reveals vulnerability. When someone cannot wait to speak, to ask, to advance, to respond, they show that they are being driven by impulse rather than command. Power does not align with impulse. It exploits it. Timing is not instinctual for most people, it is emotional. They act when discomfort peaks. They speak when silence feels unbearable. They push when uncertainty threatens their identity. This is why restraint immediately separates the aware from the unaware. The aware individual does not act to relieve internal tension. They act when the external conditions favor them. Restraint requires emotional sovereignty. You must be able to hold desire without acting on it, curiosity without probing, opportunity without lunging, recognition without reaching for more. Most people cannot tolerate this internal pressure. They confuse stillness with stagnation. Power understands stillness as preparation. There is a hidden dominance in waiting. When you wait calmly, you force others to move first. Whoever moves first reveals information. Whoever waits gathers it. This asymmetry compounds over time. Those who rush shape nothing. Those who wait shape outcomes. Powerful individuals often delay intentionally. They do not respond immediately. They do not clarify immediately. They do not grant access immediately. This is not indecision. It is filtration. They are watching who remains stable during the pause. Most people fail here. They follow up too soon. They explain themselves unprompted. They seek reassurance. Each move lowers their position. The aware individual understands that not every opening is an opportunity. Some openings are tests disguised as invitations. Acting too quickly closes doors that patience would have opened wider. Timing converts access into leverage. Without timing, access becomes exposure. Restraint also applies to advancement. Most people push for progression the moment they sense momentum. They ask for more responsibility, more proximity, more visibility. Power reads this as fear of loss. Fear of loss signals insecurity. The disciplined individual allows advancement to be offered, not requested. When progression comes unforced, it carries legitimacy. There is also restraint in speech, saying less than you could, responding without elaboration, allowing statements to stand without defense. This creates weight. Words gain mass when they are not crowded by explanation. Power listens to those who speak as if their words do not need reinforcement. Restraint protects optionality. When you do not commit too early, you retain freedom of movement. Most people lock themselves into roles, identities, or positions prematurely because they crave certainty. Power avoids those who seek certainty. It aligns with those who can operate inside ambiguity without discomfort. Another overlooked dimension is restraint under provocation. When challenged, disrespected subtly, or tested through a mission, most people react to restore balance. The aware individual evaluates whether reaction is necessary. Often it is not. Allowing minor imbalances to pass demonstrates scale. It signals that your identity is not threatened by small disturbances. Waiting is not passive. It is active containment. You are holding capacity without releasing it. This containment builds pressure in the environment. Others begin to fill the space. They speculate. They test again. They reveal intent. Eventually, they move. At that point, your response carries multiplied force. Those who cannot wait are easy to manage. Their triggers are predictable. Their reactions are reliable. Power does not fear them. It schedules them. Those who can wait are difficult to control because their timing is internal. They move when ready, not when pushed. Restraint also signals long-term orientation. Powerful people think in years, not moments. When you demonstrate patience, you signal that you are operating on the same timeline. This alignment is rare. It creates silent trust. The ultimate expression of restraint is knowing when not to advance even when you could. Turning down opportunities that arrive too early. Declining visibility that would compromise position. Refusing speed when depth is required. Power notices who protects their trajectory rather than chasing momentum. If you can wait without anxiety, speak without urgency, and advance without force, you cannot be easily controlled. Control requires predictability. Restraint breaks predictability. Those who master restraint are no longer managed by circumstance. Circumstance adjusts around them. If this sharpened your awareness, like the video and subscribe, not for motivation but for control. Remember, this power is not attracted to noise, effort, or explanation. It moves toward those who are already standing still.